And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, you know what? Special day today. Whether you voted for the man or not, we have a new 45th President of the United States of America, Donald John Trump. And he took the oath of office at noon today, Eastern time, which is 9 a.m. our time. It has been pomp and circumstance ever since then. Well, I want you to know that before we get into the news, we're going to, today we're going to talk about what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS Loses. We do that every day, and then we're going to talk about our news segment, the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey, and the rest of the story. We've been getting a lot of great feedback on that. Today's story is going to be the missing bullet. You're not going to want to miss it. And you think you're going to guess what it is, but you're not. Anyway, we're also going to have Joe Hakos here. Joe is filling in for John Matthews in the Philippines, celebrating his anniversary. Joe will be with us all by himself for a couple of weeks. He's generally with Joe or John Matthews. And then, you know what? We'll be talking about conservative politics on our semi-weekly simulcast. And then later on this afternoon, it'll be David Garrett with Garrett On The Law. We'll be talking about a lot of things. I'm not sure exactly what he wants to talk about, but you know what? We'll get to it. Right now, I want you to know that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific time, it is currently 49 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's on its way down to 42 degrees. But you know what? Let's not talk about the weather because the animals are actually lining up 2 by 2. It's been raining all day, all morning. It's probably going to rain all night. Let's talk about the news. And right up the top, promises, pomp, and protests as Trump is sworn in. Pledging to empower America's forgotten men and women, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States today, taking command of a deeply divided nation and ushering in an unpredictable era in Washington. His victory gives Republicans control of the White House for the first time in 8 years. Looking out over the crowd sprawled across the National Mall, Trump painted a bleak picture of the nation he now leads, lamenting American carnage, shuttered factories, and depleted U.S. leadership. President Barack Obama, the man he replaced, sat behind him stoically. Trump's address lasted just 16 minutes. While his inauguration did draw crowds to the nation's capital, the numbers appeared smaller than the past celebrations. Demonstrations unfolded at various security checkpoints near the Capitol as police helped ticket holders get through. After the swearing in, more protesters registered their rage in the streets of Washington. Police in riot gear deployed pepper spray and made numerous arrests after protesters smashed the windows of downtown businesses, denouncing capitalism and Trump. The new president's first words as commander-in-chief were an unapologetic reprisal of the economic populism and nationalism that fueled his improbable campaign. He vowed to stir new national pride, bring jobs back to the United States, and eradicate completely Islamic terrorism. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first, Trump said. Well, let's just hope that that's exactly what happens. Let's give the guy a chance. Let's give him some support. Let's help him make America great. Not again, but as always, and make it maybe greater, but not great again. Well, the analysis, Trump's speech shows America is getting what it ordered. America is getting what it ordered based on what's going on today and what happened on Election Day. If anyone was expecting an evolution from Donald Trump, the candidate to Donald Trump, the president, never mind. The new president delivered an inaugural address today that was straight from his campaign script to the delight or dismay of different sublets of or subsets of Americans. Trump gave nods to unity and began with kind words for Barack and Michelle Obama, but pivoted immediately to a searing indictment of the status quo in the Obama years. Presidents past have promised an American covenant, a new frontier, a great society. Trump sketched a vision of American carnage. Then he promised to end it with a nationalist America First approach to governing. It was a speech for Trump's supporters, but maybe not those who voted for somebody else. When Trump told the crowd on the National Mall and watching him afar that everyone is listening to you now, and spoke of a historic movement, the likes of which the world has never seen before. He seemed to be harking back to his voters. At some point, there has got to be a transference to being the leader of all the people, said Connecticut Governor Daniel Malloy, chairman of the Democratic Governors Association. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, though, heard exactly the speech Trump needed to give to be the kind of president that he wants to be. Well, you know what? In a very workmanlike way, he was reasserting precisely the themes that had gotten him elected, Gingrich said. He's trying to communicate how he sees the next few years from his perspective. It will basically be pitched again and again as the people versus the establishment, and it will be constant, striving to reform the system. In his 16-minute inaugural, Trump spoke in grim terms of families trapped in poverty, shuttered factories dotting the landscape, and tombstones of rampant crime, drugs, and gangs. It was an echo of the bleak message that he delivered at the Republican National Convention, and likewise short on specifics for how he's actually going to solve those problems. His pledge to make these things better came wrapped as a nostalgic paean to better days long gone. America will start winning again, winning like never before, the new president said. We will bring back our jobs, we will bring back our borders, we will bring back our wealth, and we will bring back our dreams. Well, from your lips to God's ears. We've got to support him. We got to hope that that's exactly what takes place. Well, I can tell you this: it wasn't all cake and candy. There was a melee near Trump's parade route as police protesters clash. Protesters registered their rage against the new president today in a chaotic confrontation with police who used pepper spray and stun grenades in a melee just blocks from Donald Trump's inaugural parade. Scores were arrested for trashing property and attacking officers, while a burning limousine sent clouds of black smoke into the sky during Trump's procession. Several spirited demonstrators unfolded peacefully at various security checkpoints near the Capitol as police helped ticket holders get through to the inaugural ceremony. Signs read, "Resist Trump, climate justice now. Let freedom ring. Free Palestine." Well, but about a mile from the National Mall, police gave chase to a group of about 100 protesters who smashed the windows of downtown businesses, including Starbucks, Bank of America, and McDonald's, as they denounced capitalism and Trump. Police in riot gear used pepper spray from large canisters and eventually cordoned off protesters at 12th and L Streets in northwest Washington. You know what? Isn't it a shame, just an awful shame, that the people of America can't behave like adults? I think that that's just sad. Sad that could happen. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the inauguration. We'll do a fact check. Trump starts on familiar note, with exaggeration. I'll tell you about that after these brief messages. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, They're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. Yeah, let's do a little fact check. You know, Trump starts on a familiar note. Yeah, that's with exaggeration, right? Sure. You know what? Donald Trump's inaugural address held familiar echoes of the campaign speeches that led to his presidential win, downbeat about the state of the nation to the point of hyperbole. A look at some of his assertions. Excuse me. Darn. That actually took place today. First of all, Trump says the jobs left and the factories closed. The wealth, strength, and confidence of our country has disappeared over the horizon. Well, the real fact is the American economy is a lot healthier than the wreck that Trump describes. Jobs have increased for a record 75 straight months. The U.S. unemployment rate was 4.7% in December, close to a 9-year low into what economists consider full employment. Well, from July through September, the economy expanded at a 3.5% annual pace, fastest in 2 years. The Federal Reserve is so confident in the resiliency of the economy that it raised interest rates last month for only the second time in a decade. Well, still Trump talks of rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation. Rings true in common places that lost factories to low-wage competition from China to Mexico. And the jobless rate is low partly because so many Americans have stopped looking for work and are no longer counted as unemployed. Well, wage growth has been sluggish since the Great Recession ended in mid-2009, but declining unemployment and steady job growth are starting to force businesses to offer higher pay to find and attract new workers. And in 2015, the income for a typical household jumped 5.2% in an inflation-adjusted $56,516, the largest annual growth in nearly 5 decades. That's 50 years, guys. And according to the Census Bureau, average hourly pay rose last year at the fastest pace in more than 7 years. Well, Trump also said, we've defended our nation's borders while refusing to defend our own. I'm sorry, we've defended other nations' borders while refusing to defend our own. Well, the real fact is, hardly since 2001, the U.S. has more than doubled the ranks of the Border Patrol, which now has nearly 20,000 agents. The vast majority of those are stationed along the Mexican border, where about 408,000 people were apprehended during the budget. Well, we're going to have to take a break. We'll be right back.
Time to shine the spotlight on your TV. The interview starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. It's your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live in Studio.
recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you.
Where he records his show. Special interview showcases your expertise and values in a state-of-the-art studio.
And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert.
Earn the trust of your target market. Educate in a way that extends your audience. Gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses. Video sharing sites, social media, email, direct mail, video, resumes, profile, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity.
That's right. Let's talk about Baja Studio.
Baja is a strategic marketing firm
that leverages the powerful visual persuasion to help your business create
connect with your target market.
Baja features way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing driving your business through your course. Baja has a full service production studio
to bring your messages to life using video.
Discover how to make the interview work for you at 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. Baja Image Studio. Okay, now I'm back, and I want to continue the show. We were talking about the news. Unfortunately, I just had a short interruption. Had to go to a commercial break. Now I'm back with you. And the fact, let's talk about the U.S. has subsidized the armies of other countries while allowing for the very sad depletion of the military. Well, the real fact is the United States military may have shortcomings, but it remains the world's most advanced, expensive, and far-flung fighting force. American military spending is nearly 3 times that of second-place China, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. The Pentagon says that it does have additional needs, including more ships, a replenished air fleet, and bigger training budgets to prepare for large-scale combat. Well, Trump also said, we'll reinforce old alliances and form new ones, and unite the civilized world against radical Islamic terrorism, which we will eradicate completely from the face of the earth. Well, the real fact is, quelling radical Islamic terrorism worldwide is a heavy lift in which the United States has been engaged for years. Trump has offered no plan for how he's going to actually deliver on this promise. A U.S.-led coalition began battling Islamic extremism even before 9/11 in Afghanistan alone. The coalition has fought for more than 15 years to prevent al-Qaeda and other radical groups from reigning a safe harbor out there. Well, getting the help of NATO allies might prove diplomatically challenging since Trump has called NATO obsolete and says European members aren't paying their fair share. The threat is only growing. The Islamic State has a global reach, and attacks linked to radical extremism have occurred in the United States, France, Belgium, Turkey, and countries throughout northern Africa. Well, you know what? It's a sad state of affairs when we have to actually be doing fact checks like that. Shouldn't we be able to trust the President of the United States to tell us the truth? God, I'd certainly think so, right? Well, you know what? With hopes and fears, a divided America watches the inauguration. In living rooms, cities, and offices, people across America watch Donald Trump become the nation's 45th president. Among them was a retired auto worker in Michigan who was awestruck by the inauguration. Another retiree from Kentucky who planned to counter-protest in support of Trump, and a Mexican immigrant in Phoenix worried about the future. Others avoided watching the ceremony altogether, underscoring America's deep political divide. Here's what they actually had to say. What a moment. Gary Crone watched the proceedings at a Fraternal Order of Eagles chapter in Adrian, Michigan, and iced tea in front of him. This is history in the making right here, the 69-year-old General Motors retiree said, as he watched dignitaries walking through the Capitol building with President Barack Obama on a TV affixed to the wall. These pictures are priceless, Crone said. Crone said Trump wants to make this country great again, not for himself, but for all Americans. When Supreme Court Justice John Roberts shook Trump's hand following the oath, Crone slowly shook his head and said, what a moment. About a dozen people joined Crone at the Eagles Hall to watch, most of them sitting at the bar. Crone and a fellow Trump supporter clapped enthusiastically during the ceremony. Crone, who was named for film star Gary Cooper and worked for GM for 30 years, said he's counting on Trump to fulfill his pledge to bring more jobs to America. Well, you know what? All we can do is hope that that's exactly what takes place. We just got to pray. I think that's it. I think we just got to pray and hope that he's successful. We all have to need him to be successful. Well, there's a miracle underway. Rescuers pull out avalanche survivors. After 2 days huddled in freezing cold, tons of snow surrounding them, and the wreckage of an avalanche demolished a hotel. Survivors greeted their rescuers today as angels. Among the 10 people pulled out alive was a plunky 6-year-old who just wanted her favorite cookies. But for the loved ones of at least 16 others believed still trapped in the doomed mountain resort, the agonizing wait to learn their relatives' fate dragged on. Cheers of bravo, bravo rang out early today as the first survivors were pulled from the debris, boosting spirits. 2 days after the massive snowslide buried some 30 people, 4 children were among those found alive. Today is a day of hope. There is a miracle underway, declared Ilario Lachetta, mayor of the tiny town of Farandola, where the hotel is actually located. Wow, can you imagine? How sad. How sad and how necessary. That's exactly what's going on. Yeah. Well, you know what? El Chapo's in the news. El Chapo is hauled off to a United States jail that has held terrorists. Yep. In a scene U.S. authorities had dreamed of for decades, Mexican drug lord and escape artist Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was hauled into the American courtroom today and then taken away to an ultra-secure jail that has held some of the world's most dangerous terrorists and mobsters. Holding his unshackled hands behind his back, a dazed-looking Guzman quietly entered a not guilty plea to drug trafficking and other charges at a Brooklyn courthouse ringed by squad cars, officers with default rifles, and bomb-sniffing dogs. He's a man known for a life of crime, violence, death, and destruction. Well, we're going to take another break. We're going to be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Dr. Stephen Tidwell, dental family dentist in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39. A complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary aspects. $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:25 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 52 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Now it's on its way down to 39 degrees. It's going to get cold. I can tell you it's wet. The animals are lining up 2 by 2 outside. It has been storming and raining. You know, we used to call it liquid sunshine, but it actually got dark and dreary most of the day today. But I can tell you, if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in New York City, City, it's 41 degrees and it's raining there too. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, listening to our show, it's 41 degrees and it is overcast. But you know what? Let's forget about the weather. The truth is, for California, this weather is great. They're actually saying that the drought is gone in Northern California and that it's close to being gone in Southern California. And just that small area, about 100 miles or so between Los Angeles and Santa Barbara, is still in a drought-stricken area. But with this last rain, we might be getting close to getting out of there. The only problem is we need to refill the aquifers and the reserves and the things that we have going in order to really be out of this drought and be back to normal. So those are the things that are coming up for us right now. But right now, actually what I want to talk to you about is something more pleasant. I want to talk to you about the IRS Loses. And our first case here is that it's actually too late to collect tax from a bankrupt. Glenn Redkay declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and the court approved a reorganization plan under which he would sell investment assets to pay his debts. Now, before the sale, he died, and the assets were then sold, but the IRS asked the court to reopen the bankruptcy case, saying that the bankruptcy estate owed capital gains tax on the sale. Well, this is what the court said. After a Chapter 11 reorganization plan is approved, the bankruptcy estate terminates and its assets vest back in the former debtor. Now here, that meant that they vested in Redkay's personal estate, so the IRS's bankruptcy claim is dismissed, and it must collect capital gains tax owed, if any, after the loss offsets from the actual personal estate. The IRS is always going to try and take a shortcut. They're always going to try and get to you. So, just know that that's going to be the case. How about this? Here's a case that the IRS conceded. And you've heard me say it many times. They only concede when they're pretty doggone sure they can't prevail in court. Now, in this case, it's the VA. VA work therapy. The payments are tax-free. Now, the IRS says that it will no longer tax payments made under the Department of Veterans Affairs, that's the VA, compensated work therapy program to participants that are in that program. Now, the program provides paid work that also has therapeutic benefits to veterans. The IRS treated the payments as taxable wages under the tax court until the tax court recently ruled them to be a tax-free health benefit. The IRS now says that it will not appeal and that the program participants who paid tax on the payments that they received from it during the last 3 years are entitled to tax refunds if they actually filed for them. So that's at the normal 3-year statute. But you know what? At least they're telling them about it, or at least I am. How about this? Here's another case the IRS lost. Celebrate, right? Neglect is not excusable. Here's the thing. The IRS was considering whether Timothy Severs was personally liable for $200,000 of employment taxes owed by a business when he declared bankruptcy. Now, via automated procedures that apply to all bankruptcy cases, the IRS checked Severs' tax debts. It found that they were minimal on his personal tax return, so it didn't file a claim in the bankruptcy case. Later, an IRS auditor held that Severs did owe the $200,000 of taxes, but did not tell the IRS's bankruptcy case division. Now, the IRS finally made a late claim for him, arguing that its excusable neglect permitted it. Well, this is what the judge said. The IRS is a sophisticated creditor, and its neglect is not excusable. So, you got it. The claim was dismissed. All right. You've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. Well, that's where we're at right now with this segment that we call Inside the IRS, very much like the Twilight Zone. Yeah, now, these are not actual tax court cases, but these are things that, you've heard me talk about, information is the most valuable commodity that you have. Well, this is no different than anything else. It's all about information. Well, here's some information for you. There is a refund opportunity out there. There is an amended return opportunity to get a refund of tax paid on awards for damages for personal non-physical injuries. Now, a recent decision in the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit held that damages received for emotional distress and injury to personal reputation are not subject to income tax, and that Section 104A of the tax code, which makes these damages taxable, is unconstitutional. Now, money damages received for loss of earnings or punitive damages are still going to be taxable, but you need to be careful here. The IRS is expected to appeal this case, but amended tax returns should be filed to protect your right to receive a refund just in case. So keep that in mind. Well, let me give you one more. And that is a private collection agency, or the private collection agencies that the IRS uses anyway. Now the IRS has outsourced a portion of its collection work. A private debt collector may contact you on these cases. They have some limits. These collection agencies can only negotiate installment payment agreements of up to $25,000 and out 36 months. Here's the good news. A private collection agency cannot issue a summons for financial information and cannot make third-party contacts with your bank or employer or neighbors, for example. Now, here's the strategy. You may have an easier time getting an agreeable installment plan with a private collection agency, since they're paid a commission on anything they collect, whereas the typical IRS collection employee has no financial incentive to let you pay off your liability over time. But take note, if you cannot or will not accept an agreement with the private agency, your case gets sent back to the IRS, which will then pursue collection in the normal manner. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? I don't know why I'm having a problem with my throat today. I keep choking on believe it or not, saliva, but that's where we're at. Anyway, we're going to take one last short break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Joe Hakos with our semi-weekly simulcast. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the basement of his strategic planning room located at his political hideaway in Los Angeles County, the dedicated man who stands and serves the political conscience of our nation, Mr. John Matthews.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Let's see if we can't connect with Joe Hakos right now. And let's give it a try anyway. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Let's try this. Shoot. I don't know why I'm having these kinds of problems. Not that I understand all these things that are going on, but I'm going to try it. And here we go. Now let's try it. Let's give it a go. And it should start ringing any second. There we go. And
How? Looks like we have Robert Cardoza from Robert Cardoza Live here. Robert, is that you, sir?
that is me, Joe. I'm glad we were able to get there. I kept hitting the wrong number, so I'm sorry I'm a little bit late getting into you.
Not a problem, brother. Not a problem. Better late than never, you know?
Well, I'm sitting here. You know what? It's such a euphoric day. I'm celebrating a whole new era of maybe the United States citizens being represented by the government.
Well, you know, that would be a very, very awesome change of pace.
Boy, isn't
and it's also a change that a lot of people just don't seem to be able to fathom and handle.
Well, you know what? I keep having these. I don't know why I keep having these conversations, Joe. You know, I understand. Not everybody wanted Trump. Not everybody wanted him. But you know, the truth is, almost everybody wanted change. And before you castigate and crucify this guy, I mean, he just took the oath of office just a few hours ago. Give him a chance to do something before you knock him out.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, and what have you, again, not to use a line from his campaign, but what the hell have you got to lose?
Yeah, I mean, we got nothing to lose, right? We got absolutely nothing to lose. You know, I don't know if you've had a chance. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff, I guess, because I got up at 6:00 this morning to start watching the inauguration, and watch the whole thing through the parade and the whole 9 yards. And I was saddened by the lack of turnout, and I was also saddened by some of the mentally challenged protesters that were out there and the dumb things they were doing. But the truth is that I found it exciting, and I found it in my heart a whole new awakening for what was going to happen when the president got up there. And it's so nice to call him president instead of president-elect. When he got up there and said things are going to change and they're going to start changing now, it should send shivers up and down my spine.
Up and down your spine, and I think what's his name?
Barack Obama.
Crazy Stout Hammer. I think he said there's a lot of other people that have said shivers down your spine as well in some foreign lands.
Oh yeah, not only that, but all these how do you put it? The self-serving politicians had better start looking out and better start doing their jobs, because while he doesn't have the authority to fire him, boy, he can sure make life miserable for him.
Well, yeah, and so. And some of the people that are up on the on that dais that they were on today, I'm pretty sure that maybe they didn't catch it, maybe they did, but some of that speech was directly pointed right at them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I don't know how you feel about it. I mean, I don't much care what the Democrats do. I would hope that a few of them would have some common sense and want to support the president and the good things and the good changes that have to take place. But this BS of 68 of them not showing up to show some kind of protest, they were doing it because of John Lewis, who did show up because of the pressure that was on him. You know, here's a guy that got hurt and damn near died trying to defend civil rights, and he's trying to take civil rights away from the new president of the United States?
Yeah, John Lewis is a piece of work. He is, they say he's principled. I believe he's unprincipled because his principles are skewed.
Yeah.
And so That's what what these people have forgotten. How about let's be American first, and then you worry about your Democrat Party second.
Yeah.
Republican Party second.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? You and I, I was talking to John last week. I don't think I didn't get to talk to you. I think I was talking to John, and I was just mentioning how I feel about this country. I mean, I can be as critical as I want to be because I'm a natural born citizen of this country, and I realize that I could have been born in Russia, I could have been born in Timbuktu, I could have been born anywhere, but God smiled on me and let me be born in the greatest country on earth, and I am allowed to criticize the leaders of our country because if I don't like them, I can get out there and get them replaced if or I can try anyway without getting a bullet behind my ear.
Yeah, well, that's what makes our republic so awesome. But then again, according to some people, you shouldn't be allowed to criticize. In fact, you criticize, that's unpatriotic. But then again, if you criticize not according to them. In other words, if you don't agree with some people, you're just a butt munch, and then just can't see it any other way, Robert.
Yeah. You know what? It is so infantile for people to. It's sort of like the kid that wants to play ball, right? And he's got the ball, but nobody else wants to play by his rules, so he says, "Okay, I'm going to just take the ball and go home." You know, that's just not the answer to how you do things as an adult or as a young adult or as any human being. I think what you do is you agree on things and you make them happen. Nobody wants to see the United States become a second-rate country. And you know what? And that's the path we were headed down. And I love the things that Donald Trump was talking about today. It actually invigorated me.
Yeah, I understand it. And what you just described, a little petulant little child that takes his ball and go home, that's exactly how Barack Obama has dealt with the presidency the last 8 years, and it is refreshing that he's finally gone. I was just absolutely just so happy to watch him get on the helicopter and leave town and then get on the plane and leave, and the people just stay away. It wouldn't do me any harm whatsoever.
Yeah, you know what puts a smile on your face, Joe? I know what it is. He took a helicopter to Andrews Air Force Base, got on an airplane, and the damn guy's flying here to California, 3,000 miles away from your Florida residence.
Yeah, I'm just glad he didn't come in here. Yeah, he could have came to... Yeah, he could have gone anywhere he wanted to in the world. He could have went right back to Hawaii, Bob, and that would have been great, too. As long as he doesn't come back. That's the key.
Yeah, well, I think that era is... I'm hopeful that era is over. I'm just excited. And I think, Joe, I think you agree with me. I think that we're going to see the most productive first 100 days in history. I don't think he's going to sit back for a minute. I keep hearing people talk about Donald Trump, and him saying that he's probably never going to get to see Camp David because he doesn't understand taking time off. He likes to work. He likes to get things done. He sees it as a challenge to become overcome. And this guy's going to work his fingers to the bone, and he's going to make things happen. And anybody that gets in his way, look out.
Well, I hope so, Bob. I mean, I think he understands that the window of opportunity isn't as large as some people think it is, and it's always closing. So I think he understands that. And so I think, like you say, I think he's going to do this right away. And so when he has, strike when the iron's hot, that's what you have to do. Especially when there's shit things around here. In D.C., you can just see it. You can see it. Schumer's thing today is just madness to me. But you can just see it. These people aren't going to let go.
No, they're going to keep doing this kind of crud. And you know what? What's got to really happen is that you've got to hope that the leaders of the Democratic Party recognize that if they want to get anything accomplished, they're going to have to fall into line and at least negotiate for those common area things that everybody can agree on to be progressive. And then we can argue about the other things. But, there's a chance that this could be the change of Washington, D.C. as usual, as, standard operating procedure. Let's just hope that these guys are threatened enough. And I'm talking about both the Democratic and the Republican Party. They both parties need a wake-up call.
Oh, yes. Yes, they do.
Hey, Joe, I've got to take a break. I'll call you back as soon as my break is over, and it should be about 3 minutes.
Not a problem, Robert. We'll be right here. Okay.
Okay, we're going to be right back with Joe Hakos in our simulcast after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Let's see if we can't reconnect with Joe Hakos on our simulcast. Should be ringing in just right now. Come on, Joe. It should come. Well, come on. There we go. And
we got Robert Cardoza back here from Robert Cardoza Live. Robert, I'm just talking about the Trump cabinet picks that were confirmed today. Kelly and Mattis were both confirmed today.
Oh, hey, fantastic. That's fantastic. But you know what? And I think that they're all going to be confirmed, but it's good to get it going, and to get all those things done. The faster, the better. I was thinking today as I was watching, the only station that I didn't watch, or the only network I didn't watch today, Joe, was Fox, because I knew what they were going to say. I wanted to hear what the other pundits were going to say with regard to CNN and MSNBC, NBC, and the rest of these guys. And I found it so interesting that they're still doing this. They're still underestimating Trump the same way they did when he first started to run. These guys have not got a clue. They are so buried in their own mindset and their own objectives that they can't be objective in any way, shape, or form, even when it comes to a special day, a monumental day like today.
Yeah, well, and that's the reason why the little snowflake stayed away, because it's their principle. You got every right to stay away. That's fine. And again, that hasn't happened, as we discussed yesterday on the show. That hasn't happened since 1861 and 1864. Yeah. And what's happening then? Oh, that's right. We were in the middle of a civil war. And who was staying away from the Lincoln's inauguration? Yes, those in the Democrat Party.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know what? This is just, it's, for lack of any other term, they were calling the Republican Party obstructionists, and I suppose to a certain extent that they were. But I think what created that obstructionism was the lack of cooperation on the part of the Democratic Party to try and present anything that could even be moderately acceptable to the Republican Party. They know what their goals are. They know what they stand for. They know how to do these things. They just refused to put anything before the Republican Party that they could manage, considering the people that they represent.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what their excuse was for not showing up at the inauguration.
Yeah.
But these folks that stayed away, they are in safe Democrat-held positions. They don't have to worry about a Republican coming in and taking over their precious little congressional seats, because that's where they live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean... But yeah, you're right. And what did they say back in 2009? Elections have consequences. We won. Get over it.
Yeah. That's a real attitude to have, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what they were told. So it's like, so in other words, we'll be bipartisan if you agree with everything we want. Otherwise, you're going to be obstructionists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, no, that's not how it works. And we'll see if Mr. Trump can get them to come off of this with a pinheaded position that they're on.
Well, one of the things that I find encouraging, not that I like Chuck Schumer, but Trump and Schumer have always had a friendly relationship. Schumer actually is his representative in New York City. So that not only is Trump the president of, is Schumer's president, but Schumer happens to be Trump's senator, for where he's at. And, they have always gotten along quite well. Matter of fact, Trump actually helped Schumer get elected in one of his elections. And I'm thinking that these guys might have a close enough relationship that Schumer can run interference with the Democratic Party to help Trump get past some of these obstacles that a lot of these Democrats, like Pelosi and the rest of them, want to put in his way.
So those are some pretty rose-colored glasses you got on there, Robert.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I got to start off as an optimism. I have got to start... If I don't start off optimistic, Joe, what I'm going to wind up with is exactly what I got coming to me.
If it was anybody else, I might have said, no, maybe, but no, not with Schumer. Him and Trump are friends like the rat and cheese are friends.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? Let's just hope that the rat takes the cheese.
Yeah, well, depends on who the rat is, right?
yeah, I guess. But I'm thinking you're referring to Schumer when we talk about the rat.
just leave it at that, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, but somebody's going to have to change something around there, because I can already see the battle lines being drawn, because it comes down to the Supreme Court nomination, and Schumer's going to dig his heels in, because that's what they have to be principled about, according to them. And he's already put it out there that he's going to. How did he put it? If it's not a mainstream person, let's see. Here we go. Senate Democrats, we're going to block Trump's SCOTUS nominees if you're not mainstream candidates, which means if they're not leftist ideologues like they like, they're going to block it.
Well, that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, and there'll be. I just honestly want to believe that there's going to be so much pressure from the citizens now to stop this BS from going on. You know what? At some point, they have got to recognize that we need a full Supreme Court to function, and have them function based on the Constitution and not them deriving their own laws. And right now, we've got the same obstructionist system going on in the Supreme Court that we have going on in the legislature. For God's sakes, it should never be that way.
I think you hit upon the point. Pressure needs to be brought to bear, and it has to be brought to bear from outside Washington, D.C., from the people that put these people in office, to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. So outside Washington, D.C., people need to get on board, get online, make their wishes known to get this movement to happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. And with that, my friend, we are out of time. How about giving a plug to the Conservative Syndicate?
Well, you can get us at conservativesyndicate.net. You can get all our archives there. You can get our current shows, past shows, all the shows. Just load them up. You can get them there. You can go to the Facebook page at Conservative Syndicate online, Conservative Syndicate Radio Show. You can read about all our panel members, and you can read about some guy named Robert Cardoza there.
Oh, that works for me. Hey, Joe, I'm hoping that you're staying dry. I've got animals lining up 2 by 2 outside the studio window here. But in any event, I look forward to talking to you on Monday, my friend. Stay safe and stay happy.
You too, Robert. You too. You have a great weekend, my friend.
All righty. And the rest of you folks, stay tuned. After this commercial break, we'll be back with David Garrett on the law.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the bowels of the Hall of Justice, our own legal guru, David Garrett, attorney at law.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 53 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny, soggy Southern California. Animals are lining up 2 by 2. It has been really coming down here. We used to call it liquid sunshine, but it's actually been a little dreary and dark out there. But you know what? If you're listening to us on, and by the way, it's much needed rain. Maybe this can get us out of our drought. Hopefully so. In any way, if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, it's 25 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in Rome, Italy, it's 43 degrees and it's clear. But I'll tell you what, no moss grows around my good buddy, David Garrett. And David Garrett is here to talk about the law. Hey, David, are you celebrating? Because I'm celebrating today. I'm euphoric today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to positive change and positive mental attitudes. Obviously, some of those protesters that are mentally challenged out in Washington D.C. I just, you know what? It just boggles my mind, David, how idiots that while they have the right to speak out, and I'm certainly not opposed to that, but breaking the windows of the Starbucks and Bank of America and causing damage and doing that stuff, there's just absolutely no excuse for that kind of behavior.
No, there's not. I haven't been able to follow most of it today, but I caught some snippets on throughout the day. Sounds like they burned up a car or something.
Yeah, a limo.
In all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, they burned up a limo. I mean, just, unbelievable stuff. It's just crazy. And you know what? And it's not older people that I'm seeing do this. What I'm looking at, of course, nobody looks old to me. They all look young to me. But the truth is, they look like, let's call them young adults, although they're not acting like adults. They're young people that I think that they have forgotten how far their right to demonstrate goes. It does not give them the right to damage property of others. It doesn't give them the right to harm other people. A couple of police officers actually got hurt in this stuff going on.
Wow.
There's just no excuse for this kind of stuff at all. None. And you know what? And the truth is, and I've said it before, and I mean it even more today. It doesn't make any difference to me whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or a third party person, or a purple people eater. I don't care what you are. The truth is, Donald Trump has been elected president. He did it legally. And even though you may say, hey, Hillary got the majority of the popular vote, he still won the presidency with the electoral vote. It's the way our system works. Now, before you crucify and castigate the guy, give him more than 3 hours to get something done. This is crazy. I honestly believe that we're going to probably see the most progressive first 100 days for a presidency than we've probably ever seen or heard about in history. I think this guy is going to hit the ground running, and here, this is the kind of guy that he doesn't want to take time off. He doesn't want to play around. He wants to work. He sees challenges as something to be overcome. And boy, I'll tell you what, if you don't want to go his way, get the hell out of the way. That's the way I see him. I want to give him a chance before I crucify him.
Yeah. I just I literally don't understand this.
Well, David, everybody said they want to change. Even the people that, the reason Trump won was because everybody wanted change. Even the people that didn't vote for Hillary, they voted against her by voting for Trump. The truth is, they wanted change, and the only chance of change we were gonna get was gonna be with Trump. Well, we're gonna get what we pay for. Let's give the guy a chance. If we want change, let's give him a chance to give us the kind of change that we need. I listened to the inaugural speech today, and I've got to tell you, it was all upbeat. It was all the kind of things that I would have liked to have said myself, about the changes that need to take place.
Yeah, the thing that saddened me, I listened to the speech, and immediately after the speech, it didn't matter which station you turned into, they were all back criticizing it.
Yeah.
Everything from, he was insulting the past presidents to, any sort of diarrhea that came out of their mouths. I just couldn't figure it out.
Well, you know what? He didn't say anything in his inaugural speech that he didn't say during the campaign. He said all the same things that made people elect him. And now he's going to go make it happen. You know what? If Hillary Clinton didn't like didn't like sitting there, she shouldn't have come. If Barack Obama didn't know this was going to happen, then he wasn't the guy with the intellect we thought he had. This is what Trump got elected for. And he got up there on that podium and said, okay, this is going to end and the change is going to start taking place now. We're not going to put up with this stuff anymore. You know what? If somebody was offended by it, well, then they were part of the problem. Let's move forward.
Yeah. The funny thing is most of what I got out of his speech, I've heard other politicians say the exact same things over the years.
Yeah.
They didn't get crucified like I heard this one going on too. And
well, you know what I think it is, David? I think that, and you're right. Politicians, every time there's an election, they're gonna talk about reforming the taxes, and they're gonna talk about unemployment, and they're gonna talk about all these different things that are going on, and they're gonna talk about protectionism, and they're gonna talk about all those things. And all they do is they talk about those things so they can get elected. And the minute they get elected, they forget about all of those things, forget about the people that elected them to get those things done, and they go their own way. They're out there, they're bought long before then. They're for sale and bought. And here's a guy, you can't buy him, so he's going to go out and he's going to make something happen. And now people are just scared to death. But you know who's scared to death? Those same people that buy in to complacency in the swamp.
Yeah. I just, I don't know, I was probably fortunate I was able to had to stay off the news most of the day.
I hate to admit, I got up at 6 o'clock this morning to watch it from the beginning. I just, even if I wasn't supporting him, I just think that this peaceful transition of power is so important to what this country is all about that it almost begs for every citizen to watch this take place. It's amazing, this peaceful transition of power and how it takes place. And the truth is, you can say what you want to say about Obama, but he made sure that there was a peaceful transition of power, one that was easy. Now, I'm not going to say that a transition is easy because, in this particular case, you got to pick all your own cabinet and pick all your own infrastructure and do all those things. And they're running a little bit behind on that. So it's probably not so easy. But I think, especially when what you want is change, everybody's going to be critical, because if you want change, you're not going to get the good old boy network sitting on your cabinet. You're not going to get the good old boy network working for you. If you want change, you got to put people in there that are going to take orders like a businessman would do it.
Right. Yeah, I thought Obama handled the transition well. Most of the entire Senate was there. As the week progressed, I kept getting these things from TV that says, this member of the House isn't going.
Yeah.
Then they'd go on, and the only thought that came to mind is like, yeah, I know they have a different political view than what they perceive Trump's view to be. Well, why do I care if they go back to Washington for the inauguration or not? That doesn't affect me at all. Why even talk about it?
Yeah, it doesn't affect me either, other than those are the people that the citizens have elected to represent them in a government that they love. And this is part of that government. It's part of the exercise of the Constitution. And for them to not honor that and to revere that, especially, they have got to have constituents that voted for Trump. They have to. Every single one of them. I don't care if they're a Democrat or not. They have to have had some constituents that voted for Trump, voted against Hillary. They owed it to them to show up for this peaceful transfer of power that's guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States.
I can see that point of view. I hadn't thought of it that way. I just got tired of hearing about it and wanted them to all shut up. Oh,
and I agree with you. I could care less about them too. I just thought it was a slap in the face to the government that our founding fathers set up. It's not the way that they wanted it to happen. You know what? If this guy is so bad, and if he does really bad things, you know what? We have a process for removing him. They call it impeachment. Let's give him a chance. He certainly can't be any worse than some of the other presidents we've had that got somebody else to wind up carrying the bag for him.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. The thing I've kind of scratched my head about is why is so much of our news network so politically polarized?
You know what?
Or
doesn't it upset you? I actually watched a number of different stations today, and every one of them did the same thing, miscalculating the value of what Trump had to bring to the podium. They all are these political pundits that try to analyze everything that's going on based on their own political point of view. The media used to be, when they had the Cronkites and they had the Edward R. Murrows and they had, these guys, they used to objectively give you the facts so you could make up your own mind. Now, it's all about ratings and the position of the owners of those stations. It's got nothing to do with the truth. And these guys are sitting out there analyzing it based on a point of view instead of reality. I think that's absolutely wrong. And that's why the media is so upset with Trump, because he's throwing him out of the White House. He's using Twitter and he's using Facebook to get his message to the people that support him, not these idiots that want to analyze and castigate him.
Yeah, he's done a good job of making a lot of them very irrelevant.
Yeah,
so
yeah, and I think the media is fearful of the fact that he sees right through them. He tells them, "Hey, you're an idiot. You're dishonest. You're just, you don't even give the facts." And he tells them right to their face, and as long as you're that way, no, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to let you ask a question. You know what? You lie. Man, I got to respect that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm very discouraged about the entire process, and it's kind of come down to me that I'll be watching something, then pops some talking head, and they're telling me how I should think, and usually their analysis is completely out in left field. I just end up changing the channels. It's wound up now where I wind up on the Weather Channel or am watching MTV Fail Army and see what sort of real idiots we got out there. So,
you know what I find interesting, David? You have a Juris Doctorate. You have gone all the way through school. You went through college and went through law school, and you applied yourself, and you have gotten a tremendous education. And these people are insulting you by demeaning your intelligence. This is ridiculous. Like they, most of them probably don't have the education that you do. This is crazy. Like, you can't analyze facts. That's just a slap in the face.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs there. I don't know. So I hadn't heard exactly how bad all that protesting got. It sounds like it got completely out of control back there.
Yeah, well, you know what? The protesters got out of control, but Washington D.C. Was in control. God, I think I heard they had 7,000 members of the military, plus I don't know how many 3,000 police officers, plus I don't know how many Secret Service and marshals out there. There was no way anybody was going to cause any real damage or hurt to certainly not to Donald Trump. They didn't even get close to him.
Oh, it's just go beat up on Starbucks then.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, and Bank of America, and let's go damage other people's property in the name of my right to assembly. There's something wrong with that.
Insane.
Yeah, something wrong. Anyway, I'm preaching to you, and that's not why I didn't mean to. I'm just so taken up with this.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, one blessing came from the rain. At least we don't have protesters out shutting down our freeways tonight.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure. Listen, I understand that it may not rain tomorrow. Does that mean you're going fishing?
No, sadly, I had a friend's dad pass away. So,
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He was 89 years old and had a great life.
Still don't want to see him go.
No, you don't want to see him go. So I got to go to a funeral tomorrow. So,
yeah.
Do what you got to do, right?
Yep, absolutely. You know what? Absolutely. You know what? If they made your life a little bit better and a little happier because you knew them and you interacted with them, then I think a proper send-off is appropriate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so there went my fishing trip.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's always next week. It might be dry.
That's right.
Anything? I'm sorry,
you
go
heard
ahead.
about those waves on the coast?
No.
They were talking about as high as 30-foot waves up above Santa Barbara.
Oh, you're kidding. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
is that because of this storm?
Yeah. It's probably just as well I'm not out there in a boat. I might be chumming for free. So.
Yeah, you might be on the outside of the boat looking in. You never know, right?
Exactly.
Actually, it's kind of interesting. In this kind of weather, would fishing be good or would it just be horrible?
I think it would probably be pretty poor, at least in the ocean.
Because the fish would probably go down, get below those currents, right?
Yeah, and you got weird water temperatures going, so they're kind of straight. But my experience with freshwater has been that after it rains or shortly after it rains, it's usually pretty good fishing. So it knocks all the stuff in the water. So,
do you enjoy fishing freshwater as much as you do the ocean?
It varies. I go in spurts. One time it'll be one way, the other time the other way. So I enjoy them both. I would say probably equally.
But now, if you're in freshwater, your catches are going to be smaller, I'm guessing, than what they are in the ocean. Would that be fairly accurate?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm guessing that when you're fishing in freshwater, it's streams and lakes, stuff like that, that is more relaxed. I can picture you sitting there with a pipe in your mouth, even though I don't think you smoke, but I can picture, this relaxed atmosphere on a freshwater fishing trip as opposed to the excitement of being on the ocean.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. On the ocean, though, and when you're not getting bites, it's just a long boat ride.
Yeah.
Freshwater, you can pack up and go home pretty fast. So.
Now you go out fairly often. Does it happen often to you that when you go out on a boat that nothing happens?
I've had it probably 20-30% of the time.
That's a big percentage. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's particularly when we were tuna fishing out here, trying to find where the tuna are, because that's a big ocean out there. And sometimes you just don't ever get on them, or if you do, they're just not biting. So, that's a 11-12 hour boat ride. That's about the end of it.
Well, you've got an impactful, stressful job. Does fishing help you to unwind?
Oh yeah. I think it's like anything. You just need to get away from it, doing something else.
Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but I don't think we'll have any problem finding subjects. We'll be right back with our own David Garrett on the law after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:23 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 53 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's down from 54 degrees. It's on the way down to 43 degrees. But if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in London, England, well, 32 degrees and clear. And if you're in Vienna, Austria, 14 degrees and clear. But I'll tell you what, never a cloud over the head of my good buddy, David Garrett, and Garrett on the Law. Hey, David, we're back on the air with you. And I was kind of wondering, these protesters that do these things, do protesters get treated differently under the law if they're protesting and cause damage and do things at a presidential event where the president is in danger as opposed to just on the street by themselves?
I don't think the law changes. I frankly haven't seen if there's enhanced penalties for protesting or for damaging stuff when it's like the inauguration. But I think you have a more practical approach that the volume, the number of protesters, what they're going to do to them just simply because of the numbers and basis might be treated differently than, take for instance, the car getting burned up. In the protest, probably going to have a tough time finding out who actually did it. And then there may be political reasons that it doesn't get prosecuted as strongly, assuming they can find out who it was, as opposed to some private individual with one person out there. He goes out and sees the guy trying to burn his car up. I suspect there would be a practical approach in the difference, but
so would it be something about? It depends on what the actual value of the damage was, and whether they resisted arrest and that kind of stuff. Everything kind of just adds on to what's going on. What could somebody? What would they expect as a sentence? Just a slap on the wrist, a fine? Would they go to jail? What happens here?
Well, I don't have the precise answer, I'll be honest with you, because I've never dealt with those kind of cases. But what I've seen with most protesters is they get some sort of trespass charge, and generally is a quick in and out for them.
So is it a felony or a misdemeanor?
It'd probably be misdemeanor most of the time.
And unless they caused a tremendous amount of damage to something.
Yeah, or they harm somebody.
Yeah.
Well,
how about the guys? There were I think I read there were like 60 arrests made today in Washington D.C., and there were 2 police officers that were actually injured. If you injure a police officer, I'm guessing that there's a big ticket to pay there.
Oh yeah, that would be a felony. But this again comes back to the practicality of it. Is how easy is it to prove that the individual you're charging actually did it, as opposed to the 50 or 100 people standing around them?
Yeah. You know what? I think I like the world I grew up in better than the one I live in today. Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, it just seems we had more respect for people and their property. We didn't have the technology that we have today, and I guess I would miss that because I use it, you use it, we all use it. I mean, we both can remember the days before cell phones. I remember when the first cell phone I had, I actually had it hard installed in my car. It wasn't something I could carry around with me. And then they came out with these cell phones, that you could. It looked like a military walkie-talkie. You put in a briefcase. I mean, it was ridiculous. And now look, we're carrying around phones that are actually mini computers that are more powerful than the computers that we used to put Neil Armstrong on the moon and bring him back safely.
Oh yeah. And you remember the cost per minute on those early phones?
Yeah, it
was astronomical.
It was a price tag, yes, sir. And the dumb part about it was, you'd wait until late at night because they had this tiered pricing system, right? So you'd wait until it was late at night, so you could make a phone call. It was a dumb phone call. It was just to be able to use the phone. You didn't have any reason for doing it other than you wanted to use that technology, but you needed it to be cheaper than what the prime time costs were.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you're sitting there having the thing, and do I really want to pay this buck a minute or whatever it was to say hi to somebody?
Yeah, it was expensive. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And I remember, gosh, when I was in high school, and I was a science, took mostly sciences and things in high school. It was a college prep school. And we used to use a slide stick instead of a slide rule, instead of a calculator, because calculators didn't exist. Now in my senior year, they developed these calculators, but these darn calculators, they were like $200-$300 to buy one of these things. Now, what you'd pay $100, $200, $300 for, you can get them for about $10-$15.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got, they were the old Hewlett Packard things.
Oh, the HP, yeah.
Yeah, the company got built on those things, and, now you can download an app that does the same thing, even looks like it, for probably $5.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It's just amazing. My biggest problem with, for the lack of a better term, with my smartphone, because my smartphone's a whole lot smarter than I am. It's got more bells and whistles than I could ever hope to learn to use. But my only problem with it is that now I have to manage the memory, because every time I see an interesting app, I buy this app and it takes up memory, right? And so you got to eventually decide, okay, what can I live without? And you just go through a tough time deciding what you're going to take out for this doggone things. And it's just amazing what you can get for 99 cents. This bundle of stuff, just crazy stuff.
Yeah. Then you end up with so many things in your phone, you're scrolling through all these pages and trying to read the fine print to see which app you actually want.
Oh, yeah.
I got too many apps.
Well, after I retired, because I had a large practice, and I never thought much about it, but I had over 5,000 contacts on my phone. And I'm thinking,
you're kidding me.
And here's the bad part. You got to take them off one by one. There's no other way. It takes forever. It's probably easier to try and get rid of all of them and just put in a couple of hundred of them or whatever you're going to do. But it's just crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because the system I had, probably very much like the one that you have, a new client would come in, I'd put their information in the computer, it would automatically sync with my phone and everything I had, and so all my contacts would be all over the place. It's just crazy stuff. So I took what amounted to a couple of weeks to get rid of the majority of those 5,000. And you know what? It had little or no effect on the amount of memory that was used on the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
But can you imagine practicing law today without computers and without your cell phone? And I mean, think about. I remember when I first started practicing tax law, and I'd have 4, 5, 6 books open at the same time, cross-referencing things and doing things. And then all of a sudden, the computer age came, the books became obsolete. Matter of fact, it used to cost me more money to update those books than what the programs cost on the computer. And then now all of a sudden, the books were there for looks because everything I wanted to do was on the computer that cross-referenced itself. Just amazing stuff. Where, using a law practice like you have as an example, the days of these huge law practices being able to take advantage of a small law practice are over, because as long as you've got a computer and access to all your references, you can bury them in just as much paper as they can bury you in.
Yeah. I remember back when we used what do they call those things? Carbon paper.
Oh, you know what? You're aging yourself. I talked about carbon paper the other day. My grandson said, "What? What is that? Carbon paper? What is that?"
Yeah. I tell you, it wasn't there very long when I first got involved, but I remember about 6 months of carbon paper there. And
I must be a whole lot older than you, because I had carbon paper for a long time.
I remember going through school and stuff like that, but I just try to think of practice law now, word processing versus carbon paper.
Yeah. Can you imagine doing a typo on a legal brief, right? Do a typo, and you got carbon paper, and you got 3 copies going on that thing, and now all of a sudden you got to redo it. There's no way to fix that.
Yeah, you just go crap and start over again.
Yeah, it's fun to reminisce about those days. It was just great stuff. You know what? And now, as we were talking about earlier, the world is just not as friendly or as fun a place. Kids are not interested in sitting down to have dinner with their families. They want to either play video games or watch TV or be on their computer or whatever's going on. And that cohesive family environment has kind of gone away.
Oh, it has. Yeah. That's the bad part about technology. But I don't know. Well, I got a technology thing here for you. You're going to like this.
Okay.
I pulled out something today called the dumbest laws, and I came up with the 15 new ones for this year. But one came out of Florida, and I guess they had some sort of problem back there with some gambling, and I didn't really spend the time to figure out exactly what was going on. But it involved the lieutenant governor, and I guess he resigned, and something to do with internet gambling on there. So Florida rushes out, and in its zeal to get a law out there and shut down all these internet cafes that apparently were involved in the problem, they wrote a law so it theoretically bans all computers and smartphones in internet cafes in the entire state of Florida.
You're kidding.
No. You want a few other good ones here?
Yeah, well, we got about a minute and 15 seconds.
Okay. From Nebraska, drivers on mountains should drive with caution near the right-hand edge of the highway. Problem being there's no mountains in the state of Nebraska.
Hey, I'll give you one right here at home. Pomona, California. Did you know that there's a law in the books that says that when you park your vehicle on the street, you need to put a tarp underneath the vehicle to catch any oil drippings or anything else that's there? It's illegal to park on the street without an oil pad underneath your street, underneath your car. Now, that law is still on the books, and the reason for it is that when cars first came out, they were dripping oil, and horses were slipping and having to be put away because they would break their legs. So now they put the law on the books. That law's still on the books in Pomona to protect horses.
Wow.
And you've been to Salt Lake. I know you've been to Salt Lake City. You ever notice how wide the streets are in Salt Lake City?
Oh yeah.
Because there is a law that says that when you build streets in Salt Lake City, the streets must be wide enough that you can turn around a team of horses in a wagon.
Oh no.
Yeah, and that's how that got going. Anyway, my friend,
let me I'll share one other with you.
Okay.
You know, I have an affinity I have a place in northern Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look that up. In Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, there's a law that says that if a police officer comes up to a car where he thinks the people are parked having sex in the car, he's got to flash his light or honk the horn and then wait 3 minutes before he can approach the car.
That's a law?
That's a law.
At my age, that's 2 minutes too long.
That's right.
Hey, my friend, you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and try and stay dry, try and stay happy. My condolences to your friend's family, and
thank you.
And we'll talk to you next Friday.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend, Bob.
You too. Take care. And the rest of you folks, stay tuned. Don't go away, because when we come back, we'll be doing the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, and interesting but useless facts. We'll talk about all those things after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 53 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's down from 54 degrees on its way to 40 degrees, and it is raining outside. A little breezy as well, and it's a little chilly, obviously. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Madrid, Spain, well, it's 41 degrees and mostly cloudy. And if you're in Tokyo, Japan, and you can hear my voice there, it's 45 degrees and it is clear. But right now, what I want to talk to you about is your own attitude. I want to talk to you about the lifestyle tip of the day. You know what? You're in control of how you feel, how you do, whether you're a success, a failure, rich, poor, how people feel about you, whether you're happy or sad. You do that every morning when you wake up. You look in the mirror and say, I'm going to have a fantastic, magnificent, profitable, interesting day today. And you make it happen. Yeah, nobody else does. You do. It's all about your attitude. Well, I can tell you our lesson for today is the reason that you have to love you is because it's impossible to feel good if you don't love you. Now, when you feel bad about yourself, you're blocking all the love and all the good that the universe has for you. It's all about a positive mental attitude. I guarantee that's exactly what it is. Well, listen, you know what today is. I know what today is. Everybody knows what today is. Sure you do. It's Friday. It's January the 20th, and it's somebody's birthday. Oh, yeah, it is absolutely somebody's birthday. And you know what? We've got some good ones, so I might as well not waste any time. Might as well just get right to them. And this first fella, he was born in 1920, passed away in 1993, a film director who's considered one of the most influential filmmakers of the 20th century. Happy birthday, Federico Fellini. Yeah. And here's a guy, boy, whose show I just love. As a matter of fact, it's coming back because he's been on a sabbatical. Comes back tonight on HBO. He's a comedian and TV host known for his political satire and social political commentary. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say tonight. Happy birthday, Bill Maher, is born in 1956. And here's a guy born in 1968, an actor who's with roles as Dwight on the TV comedy The Office, the leading role in the movie The Rocker, and Arthur in 6 Feet Under. Happy birthday, Rainn Wilson. Absolutely. Well, I just know that you've been wondering what was going on today in history. Well, sit down, relax, get yourself a cocktail or a hot chocolate or a cup of coffee, because I'm about to tell you. On January the 20th, 1892, at the YMCA in Springfield, Massachusetts, the very first official basketball game was played. Isn't that something? And on this date in 1986, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is celebrated as a federal holiday for the very first time. And then finally, on January the 20th, 2009, Barack Obama, inaugurated as the 44th President of the United States, becomes the U.S.'s first African-American president. And today, Donald Trump becomes the 45th president, or became the 45th president of the United States. Well, our quote for today comes from Diane Burke, and Diane says, "The major block to compassion is the judgment in our minds." Now, judgment is the mind's primary tool of separation. Now, that's kind of profound and interesting, right? Sure it is. Well, you know what? Time for me to give you some interesting but useless facts. And, as always, we've got a number of those, so we might as well just get right to them. We got a couple minutes here. We're running a little ahead of time. I don't know how that happened, but we're doing well. Did you know that the largest incense stick ever made was almost 15 feet long and 6 inches thick? Good Lord. I wonder what something like that would cost. Did you know that the first words that Thomas Edison spoke into the phonograph were, "Mary had a little lamb"? Go figure. And then, how about this one? Did you know that more than 99.9% of all the animal species that have ever lived on Earth were extinct before the coming of man? Oh, that is really interesting. That is really interesting. How about this one? Matter of fact, I can give you did you know that of all the facts that I've been giving you, this fact actually ranks as number 1,946. Now, I have about 11,969 facts total, so we got a ways to go. But here's one for you. It is considered bad luck to bring bananas on a fishing boat. It supposedly scares away the fish. That's silly. How about there are 5 trillion atoms in 1 pound of iron? Wow. Now that is something. I've got one for you. Grace Kelly was the first motion picture actress to appear on a postage stamp. Now, in April 1956, she was featured with her husband, Prince Rainier III of Monaco, on a stamp that commemorated their wedding. I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting. She was a beautiful lady, or was a beautiful lady. Did you know that a person produces enough saliva to fill 2 average-sized swimming pools during their lifetime? Now, that is a lot of spit, I want to tell you. Nice way of putting it, I guess. How about this? In the Sahara Desert, there is a town named Tidikelt, which did not receive a drop of rain for 10 years. Can you imagine the guys that have to do the research to find these things? It boggles my mind how bored they got to be getting. Here's one for you. The very first formal rules for playing baseball required the winning team to score 21 runs. It almost sounds like table tennis, doesn't it? Do you know that a crocodile cannot stick its tongue out? I didn't know that. It can sure get your teeth going, though. Well, let me leave you with this one. Polar bears do not have white fur. It is actually clear and hollow. The skin underneath this fur is actually black. Now that is kind of interesting. I'll give you one more. Scuba divers cannot pass gas at depths of 33 feet or below. Now, I don't know if that's a scary thought or not. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. The story today is The Missing Bullet. You're not going to want to miss it, and you're not going to believe it. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 53 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 42 degrees. You know what? And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Sydney, Australia, well, it's 72 degrees. And it's clear. It's also tomorrow, by the way. And if you're in Auckland, New Zealand, it's 70 degrees and partly cloudy. Well, you know what? It's time for us to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Sir, you know what the American Broadcasting Company calls him? The biggest voice in America. He's Paul Harvey, and each week, millions of listeners, viewers, and readers await his unraveling of the mysteries of events and the lives of people past and present. Heard on over 1,400 radio stations, he was seen on 110 television stations, and read in over 300 newspapers. The rest of the story has for years been exploring the byways of history with revelations that are intriguing, amusing, and surprising. Well, our tribute story today from Paul is the missing bullet. You know what? You want excitement? Visit the first aid station at one of those big public functions, a county fair, or something like that. Among the child patients, you'll find the ones who got sick on candy, the ones who fell off the rides, and even the ones about to be born. It gets pretty dramatic sometimes, like that time at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York, when they brought in the victim of a shooting. The victim's name was Bill. Fortunately for this fellow, the first aid station was a large one, sort of an emergency hospital. They even had an operating room, and Bill was going to need it. He had taken 2 bullets at close range. It was about 4:30 in the afternoon when Bill, conscious yet in severe shock, was taken inside and hoisted to the table and undressed. It looked bad. The first shot had grazed a rib and obviously deflected. The second wound was right in the stomach, and there was no exit wound. The bullet was still inside. The doctors, realizing that there was no time to waste, decided to operate. Anesthesia was administered. Bill did not count backward from 100. Instead, he began, "Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." In moments, he was under. An incision was made. The abdomen opened. Indeed, the bullet had slashed right through the stomach, front and rear walls. The lacerations were sutured, but where was the bullet? Lodged somewhere in the muscles of the back? It was as though the projectile had vanished. Cleansing a wound of this kind was imperative, and obviously more than the peritoneal cavity was involved. The doctors really wanted to find that missing bullet, if only to trace its path. Yet, this patient, dangerously weakened, might not survive a prolonged probing. They closed him up, no drainage, and hoped for the best. Bill was taken to a private residence in Buffalo to recuperate. He did not. A week later, he was dead. Bill had had a few things going against him. Overweight, nearly 60. Mainly, it was that wound insufficiently cleansed and untraced. If is a big question here, but if the doctors had been able to locate and remove the missing bullet, Bill might have lived. And that is the rest of the story. Bill was shot at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York in 1901. On exhibition, at the exhibition, apparently unknown to the doctors and not far from the scene of the shooting, was a new invention, a revolutionary device that could have helped, called the X-ray machine. That machine, so near yet so far, was operable and would most certainly have located the fatal bullet. Instead, Bill, President William McKinley, died with that assassin's bullet inside. And now you know the rest of the story. Well, When we come back and do our show on Monday, we've got a really interesting show for you, and we're going to do a tribute to Paul again. And the name of the story is The Forgotten King. You know what? You're going to love this one, and it's not exactly what you think. Matter of fact, it's not what you think at all. So don't forget to join us next Monday. On my show will be Joe Hakos. Joe and I will be talking about conservative politics on our semi-weekly simulcast. And then John Hanson will be here, that little old wine drinker, and we'll be talking about food and wine. I love when we get together with John. And then I'm going to continue our tribute, like I said, to the late, great Paul Harvey with the rest of the story. But right now, I want to ask you to please tell all your friends and your neighbors about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. They'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you did. And I promise you, I'll be glad and thankful that you did.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.